Peter Zalmayev, he's the director of Eurasia Democracy Initiative, joins us now from Kyiv. So, Peter, first up, these annexations certainly play well at home for Russia, don't they?
Well, you know, that's a very relative term. I mean, how well? So far, what your correspondent was saying, that this was meant to mobilize, quite literally and figuratively, the population, and sort of inspire them with the thought that this would be in defense of Mother Russia. But, we're seeing how Russians are voting for this idea with their feet. By conservative estimates, 200,000 able-bodied men have fled Russia for countries in Europe, for Georgia, Mongolia. That's a very conservative estimate. I think it's the figure is much larger. It may be as high as 500,000. And if you compare it to 2014 and the annexation of Crimea, that was a serious boost to Vladimir Putin's flagging popularity. This time, I don't think Russians have a clear idea what their army has been sent to Ukraine to fight and die for, why it is necessary to annex these half-destroyed territories, and why, at the expense of thousands of sanctions that have been slapped on Russia and worldwide condemnation.
And what will be the implications of this on the ground, both from a Russian and a Ukrainian perspective?
Well, from the Russian perspective, it's a two-pronged strategy. First of all, that's obviously to get the population there, currently Ukrainians, to fight against other Ukrainians. It is said that Putin is hoping to mobilize as many as 80,000 men from these territories, put them to fight against their own countrymen. A ridiculous idea, but not the first time that Putin would entertain something like this. And second, obviously, he is trying to, activate Russia's nuclear doctrine. Whether he will use the nuclear weapon or not, that remains an open question. But he's definitely stepping up his game, and he's trying to essentially force the West and Ukraine into a capitulation of sorts, to bring them to the negotiating table based on this current status quo. Vladimir Putin has to show his own people that this has been for something. If he lets go of these territories, he considers this a death blow to his regime and to his own political and even biological survival.
The thing is, if this doesn't go Putin's way, then that nuclear question that you talked about becomes a very real situation, doesn't it?
At this point, we're just left to speculate. But from what I've been able to glean in my conversations with Western and Ukrainian military officials, militarily speaking, the use of a tactical nuclear weapon it may not really make much of a difference for Vladimir Putin, and if anything, it may sway Putin's remaining allies or quasi-allies, such as China and India, against him, turn them against him, and he would lose the remainder of all support. So it's going to be it's a very, very risky step, not only for mankind, but it's going to be very risky for Putin and his regime.
All right, Peter, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for that. Peter Zalmayev speaking to us there from Kyiv.